Good morning. It's an absolutely lovely day out there. Well, I say absolutely lovely, let me have a look. The sun's out. It's not like perfect crisp winter day, but the sun's out and I'm not going to complain about that. Yesterday I went into Sheffield city centre and I went to the museums and the galleries that were there. Unfortunately, one of them was closed because they're changing up their exhibition. They're going to be open again at the end of January, so I'll probably head in then. But it was absolutely lovely to get out and about and see new things. Actually read a little bit about the art that I was looking at as well. And yeah, it was just really lovely to get into town and just get out of the studio a little bit. If you are new to the channel, hello, I'm Emma. I'm an illustrator based in Sheffield, and these are my daily-ish vlogs. So I'll try and do a video like every day, every other day, and kind of document my life. Yesterday, I'll show you what I got yesterday. Well, aside from collecting all of my Christmas stock from the Sheffield Makers shop, I will be reusing these bags, by the way, but it was absolutely pouring down yesterday. I also got a little notebook. Isn't this adorable? So I thought I could use this as a place to write down all of my ideas, and if I hear about any competitions and stuff, I can write them in there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to compile a to-do list from this notebook. I think that's the way I'm going to do it this year. So rather than having a diary where every day I write down a to-do page, I've created this to-do list. So this is actually available, hang on, so you can see it. This is actually available as a printout for my patrons over at patreon.com/Emma Woodthorpe. So every month on Patreon, I do a calendar download. So one for the computer desktop I want to print out. And then every now and then I'll do like a phone background as well. And this month's image is this fox and butterfly. And because I needed a to-do list, I thought I would make this as a printable. So if you're one of my patrons, you can go and get this now. If you're not one of my patrons and you would like to get one, you can. Just head to patreon.com/Emma Woodthorpe. They're available on the £1 tier. Also on the £1 tier, you get access to a live drawing club every month, instant access to all the recordings from our previous drawing clubs. You get access to sketchbook tours every month, and also instant access to all of the previous sketchbook tours every month. What else do you get? Blog posts, updates, videos, and more. All for £1. So not too bad. Anyway, I'm not going to bang on about that today. So I'm going to transfer my to-do list that I wrote on just a random piece of old scrapbook paper onto there. I'm going to get organised. Also today, I need to order some more prints, because when I was in the shop yesterday picking up my Christmas stuff, I realised that all of my CMYK cat prints have gone, which is amazing, but it means I do need to order some more. And I might make some into stickers, maybe, but I need to work out how to display those without using plastic. So there is that, but we'll see. Job than it should have been, trying to get my head around how to format the image in my stickers. I swear my brain hasn't really caught up yet, but it's done. I've ordered a reprint of some postcards of the CMYK cat, a reprint of some prints, A4 prints, because they've all gone from the shop, and a bunch of die cut stickers. Now these stickers are paper stickers, so when you use them, if you put them on anything, you can recycle them, and it's all good. It's all good. Hopefully I've done the setup correctly, because you know, I might not have. But I've sent them a very nice email asking them to please, could they check, please, to make sure that I've got all of my stuff done right. That sound there is just my fingers, by the way. I need to also have a look through the instructions for entering these competitions. I've been given a free entry to the Jackson's, the Jackson's Art Prize. So I might as well enter something for that. But I'm thinking I might not enter something new. I might enter something I've just done. So I'm thinking about one of these. Maybe that one. I just think they're pretty cute. And I've already done it, so it'll be less time. And I could maybe do that one as well. Or that one. Not as well. I've only got one entry. But I thought it's something I've already done. It'll take less time. I haven't paid for the entry, so I don't mind. You know, I don't mind just entering something. And I really like the way that's turned out. But first I need to have a good read through of all the entry requirements. Can't say that. Entry requirements. Before I do enter anything. I've also just paid my national insurance, so that's another thing off my mind. I love taking things off my list. Right, I'm going to go down and have some lunch and maybe have a little read of those terms and conditions. I mean, I do have until February, so my free entry for the Jackson's Art Prize runs out on the 15th of February, and the World Illustration Awards is until the 13th of February, so I do have time to check. I don't need to do it right now. So I've come down for a bit of lunch and I'm gonna spend a bit of time just letting my brain kind of run along in the background because I'm feeling a little bit of pressure of the new year pressure. And I'm sure everyone does, I always do every year, where I've got lots of enthusiasm for like the potential that this new year can bring. But actually I'm a little bit nervous about, or A, I'm a bit nervous about how to start approaching it. B, I'm still feeling a little bit stagnant after the break I've had. And I've got these competitions I want to enter and I don't want to rush into them and ruin them basically by rushing in and pushing through. Like some things I can push through in like my practice. I'll go and sketch if I'm not feeling like up for being creative. Going to a coffee shop or something normally makes me feel very creative, or at least puts me in an environment that's outside of my normal environment, and then I can get out of my old habits, if you know what I mean, like putting the washing on, or, you know, whatever. When you work from home, you get into the habit of kind of procrastinating by doing housework and stuff. So that's one thing I can push through with and I've got methods for kind of getting out of that kind of funk when it's in terms of my like daily practice and stuff. But when it's these competitions, I think it requires a bit of thought. And like I say, I'm on my journey. If you don't know, by the way, I took 2023 like off, which was basically me stepping back from making new products just to sell, and kind of really pushing myself to learn about my own style. And I was sketching every day and I was joining courses and stuff. And I think now me feeling a little bit stuck is me in that kind of uncomfortable feeling, bridging the gap between the time when I was just kind of free floating and anything was fine because I was pursuing creativity. Now I'm trying to start putting in more structure and seeing what that feels like in my new creativity, my new kind of practice, my new style and all that kind of stuff. Because before this year out, I didn't really used to sketch properly. Like I used to make products to sell in my shop, but I was always thinking about the end user and will this sell, basically. And that was the bottom line when I was making things to sell, which is fine. But in my year out, when I say year out, by the way, I don't mean I stopped making money. I my business was just ticking along in the background, and I just stopped making things to sell. And instead, I put the energy into sketching, sketchbooking, working my weaknesses, and getting a better relationship with my creativity. Because sketching used to stress me out before. Sketching was like, it started me on a downward spiral, because I've done lots of videos on this. But basically, I used to compare, and I'm sure everyone else out there will identify with this. I used to compare myself with things I saw on the internet, and when they didn't look beautiful like they did on the internet, I used to go into this downward spiral of, I can't draw, nothing I do is creative, nothing's great. So that year out really kind of helped me get out of that mindset. And I think the discomfort that I'm feeling now is, like I say, now I'm starting to bridge, like step over that gap between my year off, stepping back, and actually trying to make things again to sell. I don't know. Have I just waffled for a big bunch of time? I don't know. Anyway, so what I'm thinking of doing right now is maybe taking an hour off for lunch-ish, chilling out, maybe read a book. Mum gave me that book for Christmas, so I'm going to have a read of that. It's kind of got ghosty zombie things in, which is nice. I got my little notebook. I might, note down some ideas of things. I want to start looking for agents. So I might go on the internet and see some names of agents and note them down there. But in a no pressure zone, because I think as soon as I start thinking like, right, I'm at my studio now, I've got to sit down and do this work, it's serious, then my brain starts shutting down. I don't know if you're like that as well. So I'm going to try and I'm going to try and sneak up on productivity by the side door, like doing something creative. Because I don't know if you remember when you were at school, like when you were in exams, when you were getting prepped for exams for school, the teachers would always say, read through all of your exam paper, and then when you go back and start working on your first question, your brain in the background will be working on the things that you've read, all the other questions that you've read that you're not working on yet. And I think that's kind of what happens when I take a step back, like mindfully taking a step back with the idea of letting my brain work on things and mull on things in the background. Because if I focus too much, if I know I've got to work something out and I focus too much on it, my brain just goes haywire. It's like when I'm reading official documents, as soon as it comes to do my tax return and stuff like that, as soon as I'm reading all the official terms and documents and stuff, my brain goes, woo, I cannot focus on it, which is why when I do my tax return, I like to have Andy nearby so I can go, Andy, come and check, what does this mean? So, but yeah, my brain very much works like that. So I'm going to kind of try and sneak up on my productivity by pretending to my brain that I'm having a rest. This is fine. I think, yeah, when I try too hard, I think I end up getting stuck. And so I need to just hold it lightly. Like Katie from the Good Ship Illustration says, you hold the bar of soap lightly, because if you squeeze too hard, it's going to slip out of your hand. And I worry that if I push too hard, I'm not going to do as well as I would if I just held the whole thing lightly. So maybe later I'll get my big sketchbook out and we'll do some like blobbing around of paints and stuff. That always makes me feel a bit better. So anyway, so I did actually get something done anyway, regardless of what I get done for the rest of the day. I did order my prints, I ordered my postcards, and I got a new product on my shop. So I mean, I think I'm all right. So I'm going to have my lunch now anyway and stop chewing your ear off, and let's see where the rest of the day takes us. So I've had an hour of reading and it's been really nice, a nice way to reset my brain. Before I did that though, I did have a little scroll on Instagram and I saw someone make a reel about basically how I'm feeling now. And they said on this reel that some days are survive days and some days are thrive days. And it's good to know which is which. And it's kind of how I feel today. Like, some days are like creativity is just bouncing around and all I need to do is like pop and I'll make something beautiful and I feel really like positive in my journey. And some days are like today where it's just a matter of hunkering down and getting through to the next day. And that's kind of how I feel. I don't think it's helped actually by my studio being so cold and me being so cold and it's just being so cold and I don't really want to move. Do you know what I mean? Do you get that? On another day, I might go up into my studio and do some work to kind of try and get through this, like just throw some paints around. But actually what I want to do is just sit and read. And I think that'll be really good for my brain and my soul. So before I go, I'm going to show you the CMYK cat that I did today. So I have actually done some things. So it has actually been not a full-on survive day. I have done a bit of work, which is what I need to start doing now, now that I'm out of my year out. So let me just show you my CMYK cat. So this is the guy. I'll hang on, make a background. So this guy has been really successful on art prints and also on postcards. And I think it'd make a really nice sticker. So I'll get rid of the background again and you'll see. I've actually also got this guy available on a t-shirt on my T-Mill store. T-Mill is a kind of ethical printer of clothing, making all of their t-shirts with organically farmed cotton using rainwater harvests and solar powered factories and things like that. So I signed up with T-Mill and now I can get some of my own designs printed on t-shirts, and this is actually one of the designs that's on there. I'll pop a link to it in the video description, and if you're interested in taking a look, you can. So I've got to remember I have actually done some work today, so I'm going to try and be gentle with myself. But like I say, I'll pop the links to the T-Mill store in the video description. So if you want to go and check that out, you can. One thing that does help me get out of these kind of funks is drawing with other people. And I do actually have a live drawing session coming up on my Patreon, which I host. It's available to all £1 tiers and above. And I've recently asked my patrons which date would be suitable for them, so I've got a poll going on my Patreon page at the moment, and that's going to close on Friday. So if you are a patron and you have a preference for what day our next live Scribbles Aloud Drawing Club session is going to be on, go and get voting. And if you're not a patron and you would like to come and join us for the live sessions, if you join before Friday, you'll also get a chance to vote in that poll as well. And there's a load of other stuff on there that you'll probably find interesting, including those to-do lists that I was using earlier. But I'm going to actually go and make another cup of tea, and then I'm going to snuggle down with this book. It's quite good, actually. Yesterday, we finished watching The Walking Dead. I've been watching that for so many years, and we finally got through to the last season. And I feel like I need another kind of supernatural thing. And this is it. This is given to me by Mum at Christmas. And she'd already read it and she just passed it on to me because it was my kind of thing. And I'm really enjoying it at the moment, actually. So I'm that much through it. It's so long since I've actually sat down and read a book. I studied literature at university and I used to read, I could get through a book a day at one point, because it was like I had to write essays on them. So you'd have to read books at least like 3 times to kind of formulate any ideas on them. So I think in my early years, so I did a bachelor's and a master's in literature, and I think I've just like, I got all read out, if you know what I mean. So for a long time, I haven't actually read anything. So I feel quite chuffed that I'm making progress through this book. And maybe having a read again, maybe that'll help like reset me back to my centre, because I've always been someone, previously I'd always been someone who'd read, and for the last few years I just couldn't get into it. So maybe I need to do something that's not drawing that will get me back to feeling okay and feeling like me again. And yesterday was a bit like that as well. So yesterday I went into Sheffield and had a look around at all the art galleries. That was really nice for kind of resetting my brain and getting me feeling excited for things. And also it was just something else that would, like I said before, it let my brain kind of work in the background, and I got some ideas for things that I needed to do. And I think it's going to be the same with this. So I'm just going to snuggle down today, read a book and do a bit of self-care, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. So until the next video, bye.